You know what's funny? Most gardening advice out there tells you to start big, go all out, plant everything at once. And I tried that once. You know what I got? A sore back, confused plants, and a whole lot of nothing to show for it. But May? May changed everything for me. Because May is not just another month on the calendar. It's the month the soil finally warms up and says, okay, I'm ready. And if you know which 5 crops to drop into that warm ground, you are not just gardening. You are setting yourself up for one of the most rewarding harvests of your entire life. Today I'm going to walk you through 5 crops that are absolutely perfect to plant this May. And here's the thing that makes this list different from everything else you've seen. These are not just easy to grow. Each one of them does something special either for your body, your garden, or both. And a couple of them are going to surprise you. Number 1. Watermelon. Alright, I know what some of you are thinking. Watermelon? In my garden? That's for big farms with acres of land. And I hear you. I used to think the exact same thing. But here is what nobody tells you about watermelons. There are bush varieties, compact varieties, small space varieties that grow beautifully in a raised bed, or even a large container on your patio. Sugar Baby is one of the most popular ones. The fruit comes out about the size of a volleyball, sweet as candy, and those vines don't take over your whole yard. Now, why May specifically? Because watermelon is a warm season crop. It needs soil temperatures of at least 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit before it's happy. In most parts of the country, May is exactly when that happens. You plant too early, the seed just sits there doing nothing, or worse, it rots. May is the sweet spot. Here's how to do it simply. Find a spot in your garden that gets full sun at least 6 to 8 hours a day. Watermelons are sun lovers. They do not do well in shade. Dig a small mound of soil about 6 inches high, and plant 2 or 3 seeds right at the top of that mound. Once they sprout and you see the seedlings getting a second set of leaves, thin them down to 1 strong plant per mound. Water them deeply but not every single day. The goal is moist soil, not wet soil. One mistake I see a lot of gardeners make is watering a little bit every day. Watermelons prefer a good deep drink every 2 to 3 days. That encourages the roots to go deeper, and deeper roots mean a stronger, more drought-tolerant plant. Now here is the little secret that makes watermelons extra special for us. Watermelon is over 90% water. That means every time you eat a slice from your own garden, you're giving your body hydration, potassium, and an antioxidant called lycopene that is incredibly good for heart health. Growing your own food does not get more personal than that. Number 2. Dill. Here is what makes dill magical for a May garden. It is a cool to warm transition herb, which means it loves starting in the mild temperatures of early May before the full summer heat kicks in. It germinates fast, sometimes in as little as 7 days, and once it's growing, it basically takes care of itself. You don't transplant dill. This is one of the most important things to know. Dill has a long taproot, and if you disturb it, the plant goes into shock. You plant the seeds directly in the ground where you want them to grow. Scatter them on top of loosened soil, press them lightly in and water gently. That's it. Dill is truly one of the most hands-off herbs you will ever grow. Now here's the part that really gets people excited. Dill is not just for pickling cucumbers, though it is perfect for that. Fresh dill leaves are incredible on eggs, on fish, stirred into yogurt with a bit of garlic, sprinkled over a fresh salad. And here's something almost nobody talks about. Dill has been used for centuries as a natural digestive aid. A small amount of dill tea after a meal has traditionally been used to ease bloating and stomach discomfort. That's not a trend. That's wisdom that goes back thousands of years. And as a bonus, dill flowers attract beneficial insects to your garden. Ladybugs, lacewings, parasitic wasps that prey on garden pests. You are not just growing an herb. You are building a tiny ecosystem. Number 3. Basil. May is the ideal month to put basil in the ground because basil is extremely sensitive to cold. One cold night, and I mean one, can wipe out an entire basil plant. Once nighttime temperatures are consistently above 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which is typically May in most regions, you are clear to plant. Here is the key to basil that almost nobody talks about, and this one tip will completely change how your plant grows. Pinch the top off your basil plant once it reaches about 6 inches tall. Find where 2 leaves are coming out at the sides of the stem, and pinch off everything just above that point. Your plant will then branch out into 2 stems instead of 1. Do that a few more times throughout the season, and you'll have a bushy, full plant that keeps producing leaves for months. Most gardeners let their basil bolt, which means the plant flowers and then goes bitter. Every time you see a flower bud forming, pinch it off immediately. Keep doing that and your basil stays fresh and sweet all summer long. Now, why does basil matter beyond the kitchen? Fresh basil contains vitamin K, which plays a role in bone health. It has anti-inflammatory properties. The aroma alone, and I know this sounds simple, but the scent of fresh basil has been shown in studies to have a calming effect. There is something deeply satisfying about walking into your garden and brushing your hand over a basil plant. The smell is almost therapeutic. Plant basil near your tomatoes if you have them. Gardeners have sworn by this companion planting combination for generations, and while the science is still catching up, the results in the garden tend to speak for themselves. Number 4. Summer squash. Summer squash is probably the most productive plant you can put in a May garden. One healthy plant can give you 2 to 3 squash every single week at peak production. That is not an exaggeration. Gardeners joke that you should never leave your car unlocked in July because your neighbors will fill the back seat with zucchini. But here's why May is the perfect window for planting squash, and here is something that most guides skim over. Squash planted in May misses the peak population of squash vine borers, which are the main insect pest that destroys squash plants. Borers typically lay eggs in late June and July. If you plant in May, your squash plants get a head start. They're big and strong by the time the borers arrive, and many plants survive the pressure entirely. That is timing as a strategy, and it works. Plant your squash seeds directly in the ground, 2 seeds per hole about 1 inch deep, in a spot with full sun. Once the seedlings emerge and grow a few inches, thin to one plant. Give each plant about 2 to 3 feet of space. They get wide. Watering is where most gardeners go wrong with squash. Water at the base of the plant, not on the leaves. Wet leaves invite powdery mildew, a white fungal coating that weakens your plant over time. Use a soaker hose or water slowly with a wand right at the soil level. Harvest squash when they are small to medium, about 6 to 8 inches long for zucchini. Do not let them grow giant. Giant squash tastes like nothing and exhaust the plant. Small squash are tender, flavorful, and they signal the plant to keep producing. The more you harvest, the more it grows. That's the deal you make with summer squash. From a health perspective, summer squash is low in calories, high in vitamin C and potassium, gentle on digestion, and incredibly versatile in the kitchen. You can grill it, roast it, spiralize it, stuff it, or simply sauté it with olive oil and garlic. At 60 and beyond, having a steady supply of fresh vegetables you grew yourself is not a small thing. It is a big, beautiful thing. Number 5. Bok choy. Here is why bok choy belongs in your May garden, and why it is actually perfectly suited for gardeners who want results quickly without a lot of effort. Bok choy grows fast. We are talking 45 to 60 days from seed to harvest. You can start seeds in early May, and by the time June rolls around, you are already eating from your garden. Not many vegetables can promise you that kind of turnaround. It grows beautifully in partial shade, which is actually an advantage in May because while watermelon and squash want all the sun they can get, bok choy prefers it a bit cooler and tolerates shade well. This means you can tuck it into spots in your garden that don't get full sun, spaces that would otherwise go to waste. Plant bok choy seeds about ½ inch deep and thin the seedlings to about 6 inches apart. Keep the soil consistently moist. Bok choy is not drought tolerant. It needs regular watering, but because it's compact, it doesn't need a lot of space or a lot of water. It's a very efficient plant. Harvest bok choy by cutting the whole head at the base, or you can harvest the outer leaves as you need them and let the center continue to grow. That second method stretches your harvest over several weeks. Now here is the nutrition angle, and this one is genuinely impressive. Bok choy is one of the most nutrient-dense vegetables you can eat, calorie for calorie. It is packed with calcium, which matters tremendously for bone density after 60. It is rich in vitamin C, vitamin A, and folate. It contains compounds called glucosinolates that research suggests may support cellular health. And in the kitchen, bok choy is one of the most forgiving and versatile vegetables alive. Stir-fry it with garlic and sesame oil for 10 minutes, and you have a side dish that tastes like it came from a restaurant. Add it to soup. Slice it raw into a salad. Steam it and drizzle it with a bit of soy sauce and ginger. It takes on flavor beautifully. If you found this helpful, do me one favor. Hit that like button right now. It helps more gardeners just like you find this channel, and it lets me know you want more content like this. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We put out new videos every single week with gardening tips made specifically for people who've been around long enough to know that the best things in life are grown, not bought. I'll see you in the next video.